What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father. Amazon Kindle Create Space. Well, black women went wrong. Popped on a video of Guy King. He had these radio excerpts, and his sister said, we're angry. We're angry because they basically groomed them. Because sisters did everything they could do to be part of white supremacy and the white infrastructure, and they got nothing to show for it. And on top of that, they don't know how to get along with us black men. So you didn't get any of the power you thought you was gonna get, and you lost your men, and they're angry. In a nutshell, is what she said. And God came down. That was a dope ass video. I'm like, what the? So I gotta admit, I was like, I gotta talk about this because it's a lot of things that happen. Plus, I saw a BGS Ibmore video talking about how black lesbians say a black lesbian wrote an article. She's gonna have to date white women because if she doesn't, she'll die alone. And I actually talked about that a while back. Even black lesbians, the stud lesbians have a problem with sisters because of the way once they take on that masculine role, it's like a switch flips in their mind and it goes left. And here's where some of y'all went wrong. First and foremost, you did want to be um, in a quote unquote power position over the men. And what I mean by that is, when brothers talk about the civil rights movement, in some ways, the men and women were together. But then the women said they wanted to join feminism. And the problem is not them joining feminism per se, it's the idea that they took on the lie that they were being oppressed by their men. Now, that's a lie. So in order to take on that lie, you had to take on that lie in some ways for some type of benefit. And the benefit was supposed to be getting put ahead of black men. And unfortunately, 50, 60 years later, as far as this country's capitalism is concerned and money, we still make more money than y'all, even after y'all switch sides. Now, on top of that, you know, you say no, no, no. That's just the swirlers. You gotta in some ways give swirlers kind of a salute because what they're basically saying is they're putting. That's why it's hilarious to me. They're putting in the forefront what the undercurrent of black male and female relationship has been. You can act that ignorant way with them black men because that's what you're supposed to do. But when you want to get a white man, you gotta rein that in. You know. So since you're dealing with black men, we already know you're dysfunctional. So you got to change all of that stuff you're doing with them and do it this way. This is how you get along with men in general. But since you're a black woman and you were groomed not to get along with black men, this is normal for you. We got to break you out of this normalcy and show you how you're really supposed to act with men. And then when you act like this with a white man, it's all going to happen. But the problem was this. When nobody respects the person who can't even treat their own properly. See, if you were a parent and you were a horrible parent, you were abusive. And everybody who knows you were abusive. Just out of line. But then you run around and say, you know what, let me babysit your kid. I can watch your kid. I'll adopt your kid if you need. What is everybody gonna tell you? No, you out of your mind. Mm-mm. I already seen what you did with your own. You're not gonna mess up mine. So seems like you forgot that. You lost your way on that. The hair thing has always been, funny to me. Yeah, I'm jamming. Forget y'all. The hair thing has always been funny because one of the little psychological things about the hair thing is that's you wanted to appeal to white men, uh, Hispanic men, Asian men, maybe even Arab men. Because what it is I got hair just like y'all. Like y'all women. This is how I'm gonna compete with y'all women. Because we never told y'all to change our hair to look good for us. But you said you had to because of, racism, white supremacy, and to get a job. But the problem with that is, once again, going back to the historical reference, you bought into the feminism and the white supremacy to get ahead. So, in some ways, you did that to yourself. Now, getting back to the hair thing in this way, sister has her regular hair, her God-given hair. You hear him say, I like your hair. Why did you change it? Why did you get a perm and put a wig on? Oh, it's too hard to maintain. Now, see, here's the problem with that. If you don't, if you think your God-given blackness in some ways is too hard to maintain, and you can only, it's only acceptable to you when you culturally appropriate your hair, that's just your hair. But what is it in your mind? Because that's what brothers are trying to get at. It's like, look at how you change your tone, your demeanor for different races. When brothers talking to you, it's DMX time. It's not a fucking game. It's like, damn, what's wrong with? She's a little tense. But white guy walking, how you doing? White woman walking, hey, 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 I'm with you, sister. Hispanic man walking, same thing. I know how to salsa. Hispanic woman walking, hi. Asian, so on and so forth. Arab, so on and so forth. And then you won, and all of them are cool that you respect them, and they know they could use you to disrespect us, but you still haven't figured out that they don't like you like that because you're a traitor. Because you haven't figured out, you would have got a whole lot further if you would have respected your men and then kept your options open instead of throwing your men under the bus and chasing things. Now, I'm gonna put this caveat in there because people have been talking about the Aquarian age, and I'm gonna do a video on that. And I read up on it and I looked at it, and part of the age that I guess we're supposed to be getting out of or have gotten out of is about hierarchy and power. So you got an old mindset of one quote unquote age. I don't know if it's Taurus age, Pisces age, one of them ages, right? That for the most part it has an element of hierarchy and power driving it to an age of basic, in some ways, enlightenment. And now, but it's at a space where the old ideologies of the old age is clashing with the new age. So you're seeing these extreme polarities. So even with our sisters, it's in an age of extreme polarities, and you're not, nobody's able to overlook it. Like that's the thing about sometimes sisters have been too silent Because I'm starting to slowly see even black women coming around and say, look, you out of line. You out of line. And part of the reason I'm doing this video is because on one of my other videos, I got the Oprah, the OWN network thing with Ayanna Van Zant and Neffy. And you telling Neffy, you out of line. And Neffy like, this is how I am. You know this is me. This is how I'm going to be. Like, if you know you fucked up and you don't want to change, what does that say? And this is the problem this is where you sisters went wrong. Y'all, everybody's telling you dead wrong. It's not just black men telling you dead wrong. When you want to swirl, white men tell, hey, you gotta do all of these things all the things that black men told you need to do that you're not gonna do for them. You gotta do all of them for us just to be acceptable. Okay, then all these other men of other races saying the same thing. And then on top of that, all these other women of all these other races are saying the same thing. But they're all still saying the same thing also at the end of the day. You're not to be trusted because you don't know, because your nastiness, you've been groomed to be nasty. And it's part of racism, it's part of white supremacy, it's also part of being groomed from a child to an adult to dislike your own, especially the men. And to dislike yourself first. Because that's one of the biggest problems that y'all sisters really have to deal with, is that you bought into disliking yourself. And until you fix that, because the men can't fix it. And see, here's the problem. And I might have to do a video on this also one day. That sometimes you women say stuff that doesn't make sense to us men. Like, if you get a TV network and put us on TV and show us and have people that look like us and they're pretty, it'll change our whole mindset and how we treat people. Are you telling me that you have to see yourself as a good woman and an attractive woman on TV to believe in to be one? Are you telling me television has that much control over this generation, that your television, your cell phone, your internet connection has to show you what a good black woman looks like for you to be one? I hate to break the news to you, but television is not even 100 years old. So you're really reaching, because in some ways you're basically saying, if you put down a remote, you might actually start actually making some sense in life. So this is part of what the problem is, because this is where some of y'all went wrong. Like, y'all, you tried to get ahead. You got your education, you got your degree, you got your job, you got what grandmama and them told you, that these motherfuckers ain't shit, and you above them and they beneath you, and if all else fails, you're gonna get you a white boy. But at the end of the day, none of those Disney-esque standards got you anywhere, and you mad. You mad because it's kind of like the Fight Club. Like, if y'all ever seen the movie The Fight Club, where I don't know if it's Brad Pitt or Edward Norton was doing a scene, he was like, they were watching us on TV, they told us we would all be stars, we would all be rich and famous, and now we're grown, and it didn't happen, and we're pissed. That's what you sisters look like. You bought into all the feminism propaganda, the racism propaganda, the hierarchy propaganda. You're gonna be part of the team, so you're gonna get a piece of the pie. So you was in, like Dave Chappelle said, you was in on the heist. You just don't like your cut. I'm just saying.